Hey guys, craphunter here, and welcome back to World of Warships. Huzzah! But here's something interesting. Welcome to the first test server of World of Warships. Yeah, look, pan back as well. Perfectly timed. Yes, welcome to the first patch test for the new, well, patch for World of Warships. Well done there, craphunter. Great delivery. And I've got to say, oh, would you... Okay, sorry. The moment it was removed when the sun started to act like a bus. The wheels on the sun go round and round. Apart from the sun wanting to become a bus transit, this is obviously a much prettier position. Oh, this... I mean, look at that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to take a second just to goggle at... Oh, look at this. Gorgeous game. Oh, love it. Anyway, I'll stop. I'll look away from the sun. So anyway, we are on the test server for patch 4.0, which also, intriguingly, allows people who haven't purchased, or I believe so, haven't purchased the game, or pre-purchased, you know, the packs or anything, to have a go at it. Now, interestingly enough, the reason why I think this is so is because upon reading the article in the forums, or, you know, the post, it says that those who have purchased any of the like the packs and stuff, like the Sims pack, you know, for getting gold or whatever, they would receive 10,000 gold, and those who hadn't would only receive 5,000 gold. So the public, for now at least, have their first ever taste, or I say public, those who didn't buy the pack now have their first ever taste for World of Warships. Now, this is going to be a bit like my first impression series. This episode's going to be kind of more dedicated to talkie-talkie. So, on this one, if you are interested more in the gunfighting, I will most likely make a second episode. This test server, by the time it goes up, probably will have ended by now. It's going on during this weekend, so at the time of the recording, it's quite late, so I'm probably just going to focus on making this episode now, and then, hopefully, if I have time tomorrow, if I can get time tomorrow, if I can get on the servers tomorrow, I will try and put it in for the test for that one. So anyway, if you're all into the blood, guts, and gore, there is a link down below in the description, or now, just knocked the mic, there should be a link right in front of you to let you know about stuff like that. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in that next episode, blood, guts, and gore fans. So, thank you very much to all those who have stayed. I will try and make this as quick and entertaining as possible, as it's rather late and I'm getting hungry. So, what is new in patch 4.0? Well, apart from the incredible graphical polish. I mean, oh my god, it looks awesome. Oh, well, okay, the wheels on the sun go round and round. Apart from the sun wanting to be public transport, the game looks absolutely gorgeous. The the sun going on the water, the ship's rust showing, like, just goes to show how much of a piece of crap some ships are. I mean, oh, I've got everything set up to max, and very glad that I bought my 829 computer. Oh, love it. It's just gorgeous. This game is just gorgeous, flat out, and oh, so glad. Oh. Anyway, apart from googling over the graphics, yes, before I go on, if I haven't said it before, this is a test server, so naturally, not everything you see will be available when the game goes out. So, lots of things, even the developers have said, look, this game could be, some of the features could be completely upside down by the time this comes out. So, don't expect it to be, you know, don't expect any of the features you see to be guaranteed to come in. You know, it could all change. You know, this may become a Japanese ship, for argument's sake. You know, it could literally be that, but it might not be. I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, so what else is new in patch 4.0 apart from these beautiful graphics? Well, what they've done is they've changed a bit. Well, they've changed the way that the consumables work. So if I go to the Chester, because it doesn't seem to work for tier 1s at the moment, as you can see, Chester looking normal, and if we go to the modules feature, you can now see that we can actually go into our ammunition and consumable section. Previously, you only had the option to upgrade your ship. Well, now you have an option to look at your consumables and ammunition. Now, it doesn't seem to be that you can really do anything much with the ammunition, but speculation speaking here, we might see something in the future that might relate to it. So, cross your fingers, maybe. Maybe a different type of ammo, maybe a special kind of ammo. I don't know. I'm speculating like a mother trucker. But what you can see here is that you can do something with the consumable. Now, once again, I'm speculating because what they have stated is they've said that you have the choice to take what kind of consumables you want to go into the game. Now, this is I believe this is it could possibly be in this form, but very limited, or it could be that they're going to be adding other things to the game once certain things have done. But what generally what their general meaning at the moment, it seems, is that you can change the kind of consumable you want for your ship. For example, as you can see here, I now have a choice between the standard damage control party icon, which is basically what you get for every, if you've played World of Warships, you'll know that this basically instantly repairs your ship if it's on fire, if your guns have been damaged but not knocked out, if your ship term engine's gone down, your stern's gone to shit, your helm's gone crap, if you can't stop turning. Generally, if you've done a Bismarck, it'll fix that. But there's a long waiting time. Well, if you're willing to spare some cash, either in the form of gold or, like in World of Tanks, which I love the fact that it's in... I mean, I know it's come to what we expect, but I love how they're keeping up this is not a pay-to-win. Because I mean, I'm not going to lie, there were a time in World of Tanks where it used to be feeling like it was very much pay-to-win. Well, now, bam, it's literally, even in this game, they're saying, no, we're not going to have pay-to-win, it's never going to be pay-to-win, and this is why. This is the thing about wargaming that I like over fucking Gaijin. Anyway, sorry, my personality came through there. Anyway, so focusing back to the thing. What this upgraded variant of the damage control party does is pretty much the same thing, only it reduces the reload time. So instead of it being 90, it's now 60. And this applies to the battleships as well. As you can see, my repair party upgrade is also the same, and I'm bloody grateful for this, because this was one of my biggest complaints of the previous thing, is the fact that it just didn't, it still gives you the same amount of charges, which, by the way, they've revamped the commanding thing, which we'll go into later. But one of the things that pissed me off really quickly was the fact that you couldn't have you couldn't have a faster repair time. Like for a battleship, at times, the repair party is a lifeblood. It's the thing that keeps you from dying. So to not have that, to have that reduced reload, godsend. Absolute godsend. Fantastic. Love you, Wargaming, for putting that in. Keep it, for the love of God. I really hope players don't complain. So as you can see, we can basically have a choice of upgrading it to... you can choose between gold or whatever, though, to be honest with you, just go standard. And you can also auto-resupply. Now, what this basically means is... let's have a look. Okay, so generally speaking, what this means is if you're willing to spare with a bit more cash, or gold, depending on how you want it, you will be able to save your ship a little faster. Which, to be honest with you, if you're in a battleship or if you're in a ship that you do well in, it's going to be fine, because you're just going to be able to wreck the living shit out of your opponents, get a shit ton of cash, and spend the necessary money fixing your stuff, which is brilliant. I think I'm going to be like this for all the time. So I'm always going to have that slightly less profitable game. But then again, when you have that monster of a game where you rape the living shit out of your opponents and just destroy their entire team, like, the game that is the game, the game where you just rock that, mighty jingles will be, professionals will be singing your praises, then this can really help out, which I really like. I think personally this is an incredible feature that they're adding, and that I'm very glad that they've added it, because I was getting a bit fed up with the fact that the battleships didn't really have too much to work with when it came to repairing their ships, because the time it took, 140 seconds, not enough. This is pretty decent. I mean, I would have had it slightly less, maybe 70 seconds, but that's just me, because I like battleships and I don't want them to die. Going on from the premium consumables, there is now another thing to choose from your ship. What is that, you may ask? Camouflage! Yes! As you can see, ships now can receive a little bit more of a personal touch when it comes to sailing. There's another bloody boatload of cash. So, oh, sorry. But these this does yield a pretty decent thing. So as you can see, you've got two choices to go from. Kind of like the consumables in the modules area. You either go for the cheaper one, which basically gives you a small reduced detectability. Well, to be honest with you, in a battleship, that's completely pointless. But maybe in a destroyer could mean the difference between dying and living. Or, what I think is probably going to be more popular is this. The Type 2, which basically adds, which is minus 4% of accuracy to anyone shooting at you. Now, this is pretty much, I pretty much guarantee is a go-ahead. Like, yeah, die. You want to go for this one. Because, well, let's face it, them not hitting you is nice. Though, my own complaint would be... Pardon me. My own complaint would be, I'm not a sea person, so if you are a naval person, do correct me, but surely you would want the camo to be over the rust. Like, if you're going to be making the ship shape and fit Bristol fashion, you don't really want to have rust on the side. Just me being a bit nitpicky here, but I don't think I would have rust on the side. I'd be like, look, you got to keep that bloody clean, or we're going to be like hood and sunk in like a few minutes. So I personally would change it so it looks, because if you're going to be paying for money for credits on this thing, personally, I would argue it's worth making it so that the ship doesn't show rust. I mean, as I said, I could be completely wrong, but it's just how I see it. So yeah, this pretty much goes to any kind of ship. So, it looks pretty damn good, I'm not going to lie. I mean, this game, with the graphical enhancement, I will say this just has gone from being, that's pretty nice, to, holy mother of God, you look sexy. I mean, come on, look at that. Wyoming, it's my favourite Tier 4 battleship. And not only just because now she's in combat, but because she's the sexiest damn thing alive. It's like, I don't give a crap. It's gorgeous. Artillery? Pfft, screw it, don't care. That was a pretty crappy... There we go. So anyway, now... Another cool feature, which is a consumable, I think. Yeah, is a consumable, but for other battleships, is the spotting mechanics for the battleship, which, I say, well, you know the spotter plane? You know that thing which for a long time didn't really do much? Well, now it's actually going to help you out, because the spotter plane is actually going to do what historically it did in the first place. Because... previously, historically speaking, most battleships back in the Second World War were able to fire far further than the game can pretty allow. For example, the Yamato. The Yamato, her guns were so large that if they really wanted, if they were going to engage people, they would be firing over the circumference of the Earth to a degree. I.e., they wouldn't be able to see what they're shooting at. And the spotter plane would have to go up, fly around, and radio the position of the enemy ship, that then the Yamato could then provide accurate fire. So, you know, in World of Warships, what this means is that I imagine we're going to receive a little bit of a boost in accuracy or extending of our range when we're utilizing the aircraft flying around. Now, this kind of applies a bit more to the Japanese ships, as if we go to the Congo... Where are you, Congo? There you are, Congo. This particular ship will probably... Wow, I forgot how different you look when you were... Oh, Congo A and Congo B, they've changed their marking on that. Oh. I'll have to... what I'll do is I'll research a bit and I'll probably play a few other Japanese stuff, then go down to it. But generally speaking... what we'll do, yeah. So generally speaking, you've got, you know, the spotter planes actually will do a lot more than just fly around and potentially spot other things. You know, spotter planes did what it did its job kind of beforehand, but I didn't really think it wasn't really seen to be much of a use. Well, now it actually can be of use, and it can really make the difference. So, for example, the Japanese really are going to benefit from this because the Americans. They're really going to start... Oh, that's so cool. I love how below the sea line... Oh, that's awesome. Anyway, sorry, little details. I whore them. I love them. So good. Anyway, so this means that the Japanese battleships could really start to get a bit of a make more of an impact on the battlefield. So what this will mean for the game, I've no idea. I need to test it, really. But I'm looking forward to it, because it certainly is something to look forward to having to think about, like, shit, he's got a spotter plane up. Right, okay, be aware for enemy fire coming in earlier. Now, I imagine there's going to be a fair amount of people who will bitch and moan because they won't understand, because they don't really play this game how it's meant to be played, or how other people see to be played. So I imagine this is going to be kind of complained about. Something tells me some asshole somewhere is going to be like, I'm getting shot and I don't know why, and I don't know. Well, now you know. So anyway, moving on. Finally, we're going to have a look at the Commander. Yes, because the Commander abilities have actually been changed quite a bit. As you can see, they've completely revamped it, and one of the things I'm very happy to report is this game has actually gone the way of armoured warfare, where basically you can now, well, you have to still research it, but you've now gained the ability to have situational awareness, which is basically Sixth Sense. But what this means is that you can actually have it now on a much earlier level. Just you only have to research one on the tech tree, like one skill point, which, to be honest with you, you could use that getting, you know, if you had enough credits, you could get that for the next ship. So you could always have Sixth Sense on your battleship. And what this generally means is it just shows that when you have been spotted by their enemy team. Now that's really cool. I like this a lot, because it adds that sort of element of, well, you know, if everyone knows that they're going to be spotted, then it means they'll actually take a little bit more care. There'll also be less reasons for people to bitch about where or when they have been spotted. So it could improve gameplay, it might do, I don't know, but either way I would say that the ability to change that is pretty freaking awesome. They've also changed the way that the system works. They just revamped everything. They've just given you sort of perks, and similar to what they did previously, where, you know, depending on what type of ship you're utilizing, you choose what you want. As you unlock more points start to stack up, eventually getting up to the ridiculously large, for example, preventive maintenance, getting extra, extra 34% for the incapacitation of modules. That's freaking awesome. Another one which I'm loving which is this one, Concealment and Acquisition. You have this, which is, oh my god, that's really handy. Or even better, the Vigilance, which is just batshit crazy. You've also got this now, which is quite nice for the aircraft carriers. You've got the rear gunner, you've got the manual control, which is interesting. So it's a perk rather than a... Okay. Okay, I didn't know they removed that feature. Intriguing. Dogfighting expert, as you can see. Nice. Loads of awesome things about this. And then of course you've got that, which basically adds extra stuff to the thing. And that is actually quite nice as well. That's actually pretty freaking nice. So as you can see, a whole bunch of different features, which, you know, for a commander ability, it's very balanced. There's nothing that doesn't seem a bit too overpowered, and it also very much plays to whichever style you're going for. I like a lot. There's loads of awesome features in this, which I believe this is probably the best tech tree for commander's abilities I've seen yet. So touch wood, they'll stay, and we won't have to think, oh well, that was a nice idea that got suddenly removed because so many people were bitching or because they didn't quite like it. Either way. So yeah, one more quick little expert, because I just had a quick gander to see if there was anything else that was new, and basically I kind of was half right about the spotting fighter mechanic. What they've done also, to add on to this, is that they're going to be implementing two types of spotting aircraft, or two types of aircraft to be launched via catapult system, which is not on this particular ship, but imagine the battleships can launch a can have a catapult launching system. And what this generally will do is allow you to have two types. Now, the first one, obviously, will be the spotting one, which will spot targets. It will give you better range of fire. You know the drill. The second one actually will act as a bit of a fighter. So it probably will mean that this thing will just fly around your battleship or ship. I don't know whether it's just going to be for battleships. Once again, speculation. No idea if it is going to be around just cruisers. It mentioned in the thing about cruisers, but we might see them on battleships as well, as it makes sense. So instead of these things being able to spot targets for you, instead it'll basically be the sort of lone fighter which shoots down anything that's nearby, perhaps shoots some dive bombers. I can imagine that probably must be pretty impressive, pretty awesome to have your, for example, if you're in a Cleveland, use your special ability, then your fighter goes up and mops up what's left of the enemy. Mops up what's left of the enemy torpedo squadron. That's pretty awesome. I think that's pretty impressive. So potentially new way of doing the spotting aircraft mechanic, which is nice. Once again, I will do some testing in the second episode, hopefully when we'll be able to see a bit more gameplay on that. So anyway, I think that'll be about it for this episode. So, before I go, one big speculational thing, the biggest one I thought of yet, which is I think we're about ready to go into open beta. The way that this patch has been singing to me so far, it feels like a finished game. It feels like they've just added the finishing touches to this really gorgeous, could finish off with that sun. It feels like the game is just about ready to ship out. It does, it literally, get ready to sail, you're there. It feels like it. Once again, this is the biggest speculation ever. I don't know when it's going to go out, but they did announce recently that they were going to revert the save, that it was going to, in preparation for the release. So they did, it looks like we could be, I reckon possibly at the end of June, possibly early July, we'll be actually seeing an open beta variant of the World of Warships, which is awesome. I am just so excited for it, because as much as I'm really kind of sad to lose all the ships and progress I made, it's going to be fantastic to know that this is what we're looking forward to. This is what we're going to have when the game goes live. When this game goes out to the public, it's going to be sprawling. It's just going to be fantastic, because when you saw this game before, it was brilliant, it was fun, it was entertaining, but nothing like this. It's gorgeous. The graphics are beautiful. The game is hilariously fun, and getting multiple Citadel penetration hits with your cruiser sinking shit tons before dying, it's going to be brilliant. And I'm falling in love with this game ever so much. I'm not a Navy person, but I love this game. I just love it. I'm eating it up. It's fantastic. So anyway, that's about it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, do let me know in the comments section down below, clicking on the like button, and of course subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. This is craphunter signing out. I'll catch you next time.